Saturday night again.
You know what it truly is.
Yeah. And we're back in the Gunners Club.
Come and take a seat. We're old friends by now. And we're going to have some fun. You know that person who's a typical wine ponce?
Oh, no, I wouldn't know anyone like that.
I've dropped my guard there completely, haven't I? You're the person...
Look, whatever you may say, you have not steered me wrong on a wine yet.
Well, thank you.
I don't say that lightly. You haven't steered me wrong on a wine. And if you want to correct me on this, you're the one who actually put me onto...
I am the Holy
Originally,
Trinity, Grant
the
Burgess,
Holy
Holy Trinity.
And I think what appropriate occasion being Christmas.
That's right.
How's that, eh?
Well, we've actually opened a bottle of the Grant Burge Holy Trinity. I love it. Look, the reason why I'm talking about the typical wine ponce is this. I've spent a bit of time and money learning about wine. There's still a lot more to know. But just how useful is it to have a person who thinks they know about wine, or let's face it, probably even does? When nowadays there's things like apps that you can get on your phone, or there's special books written about wines, particularly for us here in Australia, and I'd imagine in Canada, in California, the same sort of thing as well. I started off by buying books from eBay, things like that, on the Australian wine industry. Got into it. Some of those books were very old, but it gives you an understanding of the different regions of wine in Australia and what to look for when you order. Now, I've got some tips for you. When I order wine, I generally order the grape that I have in mind, and then when I think of the grape, I think of the region that I want that grape to come from. If the wine menu, I'm at a restaurant, let's say, has got a brand that I know and has not let me down before, that's what I tend to go for. But in my mind, what am I eating? What's the grape type that would go with that? And what are the grape regions in Australia for that?
But how would you... I'm a bogan. Okay? I go into...
Well, evidently.
I go into a restaurant. Okay? A restaurant, as a general rule,
Yes.
it's pasta. Let's say an Italian restaurant.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. All right. I know what I like to eat, only because I've eaten that before. I want to order a wine to go along with that. How the friggin' hell would I know what grape to think of when... Oh, what's going to go well with this?
I mean,
How would I know that?
generally, if they have a wine list, it'll be front heavy with wines that they think will suit that particular sort of dish. If it's a restaurant that you trust or that's been recommended to you, hopefully there'll be somebody there who'll serve who actually loves the wines, buys the wines in, and will recommend what's good for you. Some of the crutches that I've used, though, I've talked about ordering books second-hand, reading them, even some cheap new ones, and books tend to age, and that's a big problem with it. But one which I've always considered my Bible for Australia is the Halliday. Now, Suze, you were here with me when I bought this book. I bought it from the Shadowfax Winery, you'll remember, out in Werribee.
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
That's
Yep.
where you discovered that lovely Australian whiskey that we got into.
Oh, my God, yes.
That's right. So this is something I've always depended on, and pretty much every year I wait till the price drops a little bit and then I buy it. Just for an example, what I've done is just dog ear, or actually from the Christmas cracker, believe it or not, this came in, the very wine that we're drinking. Now, it just so happens, and this is a 2023 edition, new one's about to come out, that the Grant Burge Holy Trinity that they recommended was this very same year for the one that we opened in 2019. But most of the time I don't get it right in terms of this book. And let's say we had that bottle of 2016 to open. It's not in the book. Or let's say if I had the 2020, it's not in the book. So what to do? Well, I've got a bit of a profile here in Halliday. And Halliday is someone I trust who's been in the industry for 50 years. They literally go through thousands of Australian wines, and they sort through regions and the wine grapes
How
as
do
well.
I get a job there?
Well, hopefully,
I reckon I'd be well suited.
buy a few more second-hand books and do a little bit more reading, and we might be on the same platform then. So generally, this is something which I will trust. The problem is that it ages out so very quickly. A new vintage comes all the time. I like what Halliday's had to say about the wine industry in Australia for the last 2 years. So we've had in the South Australia region, particularly Victoria and Tasmania as well, we've had classic cool climates. What that means is the next couple of vintages that are coming out should be crackers. They should be really good. And Halliday's actually saying, take his advice. If you belong to any wine clubs or you don't and there's a favourite winery, get your name down on the wine club and start to order some wines because the stuff which is coming out the next 2 vintages is going to be cracker. Good to know.
Okay.
He very highly talked up Pooley Wines in Tasmania, which is around Coal River Way. I will be there again in March and I will make sure to go to Pooley Wines again. 1830s classical Georgian convict built place. I've been assured when I went there and tasted wines that there are actual ghosts in the place. Now, when I lived in Hobart and I worked all hours in the job I had, I didn't see a ghost, so I don't know how much to believe about that, but I do believe Halliday when he says the wines from that region are cracker. So that's one crutch that I use. Other people have started to turn to online apps, and in fact, I went to one of those schmooze Christmas dinners near the Yarra River, and a person recommended to me that I get onto an app. He said it's a cracker. You'll learn a whole lot of stuff. And what I've done is I've gone in for this particular wine and I've got a download of how they profile it. And they've classified it between, is it light or is it bold? Now, when I taste this, it is very bold. It's very fruit driven. It's a balance of smoothness and tannics. It's not a dry wine at all. If it was dry, you'd expect to get a whole lot of saliva coming out.
It is very fruity, but it is deep. It's not a light wine.
I'd agree with you. Yeah, it's a very well balanced wine, and this particular app is called Vivino. Now, here's my thoughts on it. It's not there yet. It's not there yet for a couple of reasons.
You're talking about the app now?
Yeah, the app.
Okay.
I tried it at home with some Teltani wines, and you know that we've been out together to Teltani wineries, and we did actually a pretty good visit of the way that they make the wines.
True, yes.
And I really enjoyed myself there. I've tried a lot of their wines, a lot of their recent wines I'm actually quite enjoying, particularly their reds at the moment. It misidentified on one of the bottles the type of grape that it was. So it was talking about a completely different grape, so no use at all. Another one, it got the grape right from the label, but it actually got the year wrong. So this is not Coca-Cola. This is a living product, and it's the vintage year by year by year, and it changes completely what it is, the quality of what you're drinking.
So the app
it
needs
got both
work.
of those wrong. It needs a lot of work with it. One thing I found that was an advantage on this particular product over the Halliday was I was actually able to look up both of these years of vintages. That's pretty neat to be able to do that. And I think in time, some of the corners will be rounded off and it will become a lot more usable as well. But getting back to the idea of a wine ponce, is it good to have a friend who's a wine ponce? I really do argue it is, or at least to go to a restaurant or a place where you buy your wines, where a person cares deeply about the product that they're selling you. So you come out happy. I mean, I was telling you, mid this year, I went to a bottle shop in Melbourne's Outer West.
That's right.
And I was assured by a man of a culture that doesn't have wine as part of their heritage that the wine he was telling me tasted like wine. It doesn't mean that my wife would be happy with the casserole that we've cooked together with that pairing of that wine. It did taste like wine, though. I'll give him
Well,
that again.
there you go. See, he wasn't wrong.
Yeah.
And it did come in a bottle as he suggested.
It did. It did. So these are my thoughts. What I would recommend to you, if you really are interested in wines, get talking to the people who produce the wines, go out and visit a couple of wineries, find something that you like, identify the grape that you like with a region that's known for that grape. And then if you want to, spend maybe $10, $20 on eBay, get some second-hand books to start to learn a bit about the Australian wine industry. And the wines vary so much because we're a whole continent. And I think, Sue, it's just like the beach, that the Australian wines are a birthright to us. It's one of the great things about being Australian.
I don't mind if I do. That's not bad, is it?
Yeah, and
That's
you don't
not
need
bad.
to be a wine point to enjoy it, but you need to have someone with an idea of what they're selling to steer you in the right direction.
This isn't half bad. And didn't it go down well with our Christmas lunch?
Perfect, actually.
So, this is a video after said Christmas lunch where we did indulge.
Not too much. Everyone was well behaved.
For the first time.
And like they say with Christmases, everybody who was there brought pleasure. Some by their coming.
Some by their leaving.
Join us in 24 for more. We've got bags of ideas, but we need you on board. Do us a favour and show one of our videos to someone who you like or don't like. Just share it up.
And don't forget, give us a like and a subscribe if you like what you see. Let us know what you reckon down below. And we'll catch you in 24.
Look forward to it.
Good on you.